On this episode of Purposely Curious, we sit down and answer some of your questions over some delicious tea in our fourth Cocktail Q&A. Didn't have any mocktails or cocktail, but tea. Thank you to those who shared your questions for the episode. As random as some were, we really loved answering them. So get nice and cozy as this episode starts now. Hello, Leonie.
Greetings, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Doing well. How's everything?
Everything is good. I want to say I don't have necessarily anything new to report other than I'm traveling, I'm working on my crafting. I'm just being me, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool.
How
though.
about yourself?
That's cool. Things are good. Things, just keeping busy over here as usual. Bunch of side projects, podcasts, blah, blah, blah. Same old stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about your crafting, though. What are you doing with the crafting? Or can you talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I can talk about it. So obviously I have somewhat of a creative mind. When I say creative, I've always kind of been creative, but I've always been very lazy. Growing up.
Okay.
So I finally decided to give all these ideas that I had in my mind, kind of like, let's get them going.
Right.
So I started purchasing the items that I needed, and I've been playing with, sublimation, a bunch of stuff that I want to do. So the goal is to have my shop up and running by end of summer.
Nice.
But it's a lot more complicated than I thought as far as, you've gotten texts from me, right? Like,
yes.
For your podcast, the Boo Crew, where do you guys use to sell merch? Or, I'm been bugging everyone. Because if you guys haven't figured it out, I'm a research type of girl who overanalyzes and overthinks shit. And so...
You know what?
Okay,
you know what though? I have to mention this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you over research stuff, whatever, but I'm gonna call you're an executor, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, because you reached out to me a while back, you asked me about, technical questions, right? And I told you, hey, try this, learn this, do that, and then what did you do? You actually did that. Very few people, like maybe 2 people that I've known in like 10 years who asked me like for advice, I actually like followed through, and you were one of those people, so I was like, I'm so proud of you, because it's like, if you're asking me a question, I know it's because you're doing something with it, and I know you're going to execute, and there's going to be a final product, whatever it is,
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so proud of you. I'm just like, every time I hear you're working on something, I'm like, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what she does with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I've been learning a lot about different types of crafts. So obviously I work full time. My goal is not to do this full time to start. It's just me fulfilling a need to do shit like this.
Right.
Like actually get it done, do it, put it out. So that's, for some of you guys who might follow me on my personal Instagram, I've been kind of delving into like editing my little videos of when I don't post at all the projects I do, but
Right.
Sometimes I'm just like super into it, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking make a TikTok, or I'm going to make a, IG reel,
Right.
whatever. It's like, I'm really excited. So I've kind of been researching a lot, watching a lot of videos. I've been hitting up my girlfriend, Natalie, Elaine, my friend, Amy. Shout out to Amy. She's actually kind of doing the same thing, except she's starting her own makeup line. So
Cool.
I'm just super excited to see my friends doing shit, or friends that have done shit. And so I'm just kind of like, yeah, like just doing my research and hitting you guys all up and asking questions. And I'm getting close to actually finalizing certain things so that I can pull the trigger. But,
Cool.
Some people jump in without doing what I do. I'm just more cautious. And like I said, I think of the worst case scenario type situations. And I'm excited because I feel like the most of my research has been done. So
Right.
soon I will be selling customized things for my friends. I'm assuming, it'll start there, and then, because I like to advertise a lot, it's going to be successful. I'm manifesting that.
Of course.
It's going to be successful.
Of course it is. And I'm sure you have like tons of friends telling you this, but I'm going to tell you, and, just so to put it out there in the world, I'm going to say, hey, when it's ready, you tell me, because I want to be your first customer.
Yeah. I'm going to be my own first customer.
Cheater.
But yeah, but any exciting projects you're working on yourself?
Just, podcast stuff related. We're, the company we're partnered with, we're putting out movies now. So, working on that. So it's been busy. It's been busy, but exciting, because, it's like we keep growing. So it's like, just trying to see how far down the rabbit hole we can go,
Yeah. Putting out movies is a big step.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, when I look at who you guys are interviewing on your podcast, you guys are interviewing legit people, like mad respect, Leonie, mad respect.
Oh, thank you. It's so difficult to get these people's attention or time, but when we're able to, it's fun. It's fun. They have a good time, and hopefully we can say, hey, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, good luck from Purposely Curious podcast, from the listeners and from me.
Yeah,
I know you guys are going to get bigger and bigger, just as you guys have been.
Hey, same things can happen right here. You know that, right?
No, don't tell me that, because that freaks me out.
Freaks you out.
I want it to be this little community that I have going. By the way, I want to say what's up to all my listeners across the world. I mean, we have El Salvador, Mexico, Canada, the US, of course, is my biggest market. Peru, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Dubai, Kuwait, England. England is up there in the top 3.
Nice.
I mean, there's so many countries in Europe, countries I've never heard of.
Right.
Thank you guys for listening. India. Oh my God, India. Where did you guys come from? But there you are. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening to me and Leonie, who's on here half the time, but
sort of.
Yeah.
No, yes. Thank you so much. I mean, Mary is an absolute joy to speak with. So I know you guys on the outside listening, are enjoying her conversations, her voice. So, thanks for tuning in, and keep it coming, because, Mary's got some great stuff coming.
And thank you for all the feedback, and for those who have actually left reviews for me. I appreciate it. I don't ask for them just because for me, I'm doing it it makes me happy. I'm not looking to get big. But for those of you who have left reviews and, ratings, I appreciate it. And, does make my heart beat a little faster. I don't know if that's anxiety. But nice. Yes, today I wanted to do a Q&A kind of so that, we haven't had one in a while.
I love Q&As.
You love Q&As?
Yes, because I've never had the answers.
Yes. So initially we started Cocktails Q&A, and I would get super buzzed. Yeah. And by the end of it, it was just a mess. It
was fun.
So now it was fun, I know, but I'm drinking tea, so it might not be as fun, but
I mean, we could do a tea one where, we just keep gulping tea, and then we have to take breaks to go pee and then come back. And
so, yeah. But are you ready for some questions?
Let's do this.
Yes. So someone said, is age a big deal when it comes to dating?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a very good question. For me, yeah, it kind of is a little bit. I have upper, lower. Well, actually, I don't have an upper boundary, but I have a lower boundary. I can't date an 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. And maybe even 22, 25. It's kind of and it's nothing personal, because I've actually known, women who are in their young, early 20s who are very mature, on top of life and on top of things and just got their head on straight. They're, they're good people, and, but I don't know, they're few and far between. And, same can be said about a guy, right? If guy's not mature or whatever, but I'm just at that age where I'm like, like my lower boundary might be mid to late 20s, and, but then a little older, sure, but not too much older, because, I like to think that, hey, there's just things in life that I, want to experience with, possible,
So, a baby?
Maybe. I mean, that's, that's up to her if that's, if she can, if she wants, and if we want, ultimately, then yeah, sure, but it's not a deal breaker if there is no baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my goal in life. Like,
okay.
So if it does happen, great. If it doesn't happen, great. I mean, I think to me, the person is more important, Like, I'd rather grow old with somebody great than have to worry about having kids. And kids, great. Love your kids no matter what. But what then? Did we just have kids just to have kids? Like, are we unhappy? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this real?
Yeah, it sounds a little complex there.
I know. It can get crazy. So, but yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem. It's just, but yeah, going younger, not my thing. But, I easily no problem. 40s, no problem.
Okay.
How about yourself?
Well, no, I'm not done with you.
Oh,
so
geez.
now that we've talked about that as far as like your preference of age, what would you say, how many years younger has been the youngest you've dated and the oldest? Like how many years? Because that would be interesting to hear.
Yeah. So the oldest I've dated, I think, but this was a while back. So I think she was 40. Okay. But this is like 10 years ago when I was in my 30s, and the youngest.
So she was 10 years older than you?
Yeah, about that.
About that. Okay.
Yeah. And then the youngest, when I was 30, I think it might have been 24 or 25. Because at the time, I was like looking at, okay, what's going on with the 20-year-old, 21, 22. Then I realized, not for me, because you know how culture changes.
Yeah, the generations.
Yeah, because I know you went through that whole experiences, where you go out, right, with your girlfriends, you go, to clubs, you go to bars, you hang out and all that, and like that started to disappear in my world, right? Where it was more like all of a sudden it's like, oh no, like don't even call me. It was more like swipe right, like let's hook up. And I'm like, what? I'm like, it's that easy? Like, is that what's going on now? That's like not my thing, so it started to get weird, and I'm like, okay, gotta go a little bit older now just to see what the mentality is, but either way, like I said, there's good people out there, there's good women, and for you, good men of all age ranges that have their head, their thoughts on right, that match your personality, what you're looking for, so
right. Yeah good answer.
So
I was just curious, what was the youngest and oldest that you've dated as far as years? So interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was in my 20s, like when I was 22, I think the youngest would have been 18.
Ah, okay.
So it was just like,
not too far apart.
Not too far apart,
Yeah.
And that girl, I mean, it was interesting because I think that was my first time where I'm older and she's inexperienced, as opposed to when I was in high school where I was young and she was young and we were both inexperienced, So that was an interesting experience, for a lot of reasons, and it's it's something I don't need to relive, You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, who, like, really, you want to date a virgin? It's like, who's like, what?
Oh, God. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But how about you?
No. I'm still laughing. So for me, So the question is, do we have an age limit?
Yes.
Or does age matter? I can tell you that I never really thought age mattered. At least I thought, I told myself. But if I look at the people that I've dated, they've all been older than me. Like my last ex was 2 years. The one before that was 7 years older. But my first boyfriend was 11 months younger than me. But we met when we were like 17, 18.
Right.
So as far as mentally, I was the younger one and he was a lot more older in experience.
Right.
So I haven't really, I guess for the sake of this conversation, dated anyone younger than me. Maybe I should date someone that's younger than me. I don't know. I never have. I mean, 11 months, like I said, we were 11 months. I was 11 months older than him when we met.
Right.
We were 17, but I was still like naive. My parents didn't let me do shit. I was like sheltered.
Right.
I hadn't been drunk. Teenage kids are drunk by then, most of them. So I definitely feel like he was older. So I tend to lean towards older. But I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe I should look at younger men. But then I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to be categorized as a cougar.
Oh,
like how
man,
young are we talking?
you can get them any age you want.
Oh my God.
Like seriously, like every guy from 18 to 30, whatever, will be clearly looking at you because it's like, man, this girl's fine.
Oh my God, Leonie. So this is the thing. So for me, the reason I guess I've dated older, I just like more mature, serious dudes.
Right.
But that's not saying that I'm mature and serious myself. Obviously I have my shit together. I'm always doing stuff, but I'm a spaz and, I like to be immature and do stupid shit. So,
right.
I don't know. I need girl talk with my girls and be like, girls, so should I explore younger men? Like,
I mean, there's interesting things about younger guys. And I don't know where their mentalities are today, but I'm most of the time they're not with like, hey, settling down, you know what I'm saying? Or like they're more, so I mean, if you're into that, that style where it's just like, hey, just want to go out, hang out, have fun. Trust me, there's plenty out there,
Yeah, no, I get bored. I like nerdy guys, dorky guys. I don't know. This was a good question because I've just realized I've never dated anyone that's younger than me. So but I've never thought of myself as putting restrictions on it, but maybe I am without realizing it, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. That's part of you, from your life experiences and what you like and don't like and what you want. And, that's,
I like silver foxes.
There you go. Hey, I'm half silver, yo. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so this might not be a question you can answer because you don't have any tattoos, right?
That is correct. I don't.
Okay, so what's the etiquette on asking to look at someone's tattoos?
I just ask. Okay.
But is there an etiquette?
I mean,
no.
Well, here's the funny. Okay, a number of times, like seriously, 50% of the time, like when they say I just got one, no, I'm talking about a girl, okay? It's always in a place that they can't show me, right? Which is funny because, they have no problem saying like where it is, they're just like, oh, it's on my butt or it's on my breasts, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, because I'm not going to say, well, show it, it's like, no, but it's funny that they brought it up to mention that, hey, I got a new tattoo, a thing of a rose and my name and this and this. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because, stupid me, right? I'm thinking like, oh, it's on your shoulder. Oh, it's on your arm, right? Like, oh, can you show me, And then they're like, oh, no, it's in a place where I can't show you, So, but yeah, I always ask because I appreciate art so much, and I know how intricate and detailed and really amazing, work that some of these tattoo artists do. So I always want to see, the work, and of course, if you got a tattoo, most of the times, you want to show it off, some are personal. You don't want to show it off, or maybe it's for a personal time with your guy or, or your girl. And then maybe that's when it comes up in conversation, but I think people get them to show them off. And I think that's great, and I think that every time I see one, I'll always ask like, hey, that's cool. What's on your arm, and they'll usually like roll up the sleeve and like, oh yeah, check it out. It's my daughter, or, whatever. And it's a good story, so I'm not shy when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not shy to ask, but yeah, half the time it's pretty funny that the answer is it's in a place that I can't show you. And of course we start laughing, it's like, oh, that's funny, but what are your thoughts on that?
The etiquette?
Yeah.
Well, I've never really, I love all my friends and cousins. I hope none of my uncles and tias are listening, but they all pretty much have tattoos. So
right.
I don't necessarily ask like, where do you have them or anything. That's just me. But, they're usually sleeves and they're pretty proud of them. I don't know the etiquette. I don't know. Odd question.
Yeah, it's I honestly I don't know if there is an etiquette or whatever, but I'm just that person that I don't mind asking, like clearly if I know it goes across a private part of your body, I'm not going to say, hey, show it to me, and like, no. But when I see some really cool work, I always ask, and you'd be surprised. It could be some fucking bearded biker guy, with tattoos and knives and shit, and weapons. That's always like, oh, cool, man. Thanks for asking. Like, that's my daughter, or that's the picture of my car, whatever, It's always a good conversation,
Yeah.
So you never, and people I realize do love talking about the story of that tattoo.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of people who have a story
Yeah.
for each tattoo. There's a reason, a rhyme to it. I've definitely have had, patients who have had tattoos, now these are people who are elderly now.
Right.
And I have asked them, essentially like, what did you get this from? And they have told me stories of, my best friend died in the war, the Korean War, so it's really nice to hear those stories.
Right.
So in that sense, as far as etiquette, I do ask, is there a story behind this tattoo?
Right.
But I'm looking at it from that perspective. But I've not, in the elderly, I've not seen one in a place that shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's typically, maybe not yet. That generation's coming up soon, I'm sure.
Oh my God, that should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Pretty soon you'll be like, whoa, where does this one come from,
Yeah.
But it's funny, my dad had a tattoo. He got a tattoo after World War II when he came back after the war. He got a tattoo of a genie on his arm. So my dad had a tattoo in both of his arms, And, surprisingly, up until he passed away at the age of 84, that genie, you could still see the detail. Like it was still, and it was not like an amazing artist or anything. Back then they weren't that great. They didn't have the greatest, needles, none of that stuff, So tattoos were okay. They weren't like today where they're amazing, But surprisingly, that aged really well on his arm, And I always remember that, like up until the day he died, it's like, yeah, that genie, that that girl on his arm, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Another question is, do you have any show recommendations?
Show recommendations, like what's currently on?
I know you do.
Yeah, I do. That's the crazy thing. There's some interesting. It depends what you're looking for. Of course, I am so involved in the horror genre, but also horror adjacent, as we call it, would be like thrillers, and crime, true crime documentaries, that kind of stuff, that are kind of related, There's some good shows. I highly recommend a show on Apple TV Plus called Servant. And I always say...
Oh, that's on Apple, right?
Yeah. It's on Apple. And a lot of people, buy iPhones every year and stuff like that. And I always tell them, hey, you get a new iPhone, you get free Apple TV for a year. So all you got to do is sign up, So That's a great show to check out. Also, Ted Lasso was great.
Oh my God, yes. Ted Lasso, football
Yes.
is life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Oh my God.
And
there's so
Ted
much.
Lasso, I had been telling people, like, so this is for all my soccer fans out there. Football.
Yeah.
I started watching it last year, and it wasn't really like, I had texted my cousin like, "Hey, you should watch Ted Lasso on Apple. It's really funny." And then there was a scene where Mourinho, who's a coach, who's coached Barcelona. I mean, he's big shot coach. They had asked him a question, and in the the press conference, he's like I told Ted Lasso one time, and I was like, oh my God. So like, if you only the fans who were watching Ted Lasso at the time knew what the fuck he was referring to. So I was like, this motherfucker's watching Ted Lasso. It was something stupid. Like Mourinho says like the dumbest shit in his press conferences.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. And then word started to spread. So they were nominated for Golden Globes. They have been renewed for a second season. I also noticed that the MLS, they have Twitter accounts that I started following last year. So the characters have Twitter accounts. And so I started following the team. They're all fake, fictitious, right? It's a comedy. It's cute.
Right.
And now the MLS, like one of the main players was just traded to Kansas City, a real MLS team. And the MLS team, tweeted that they bought them, or they, it's just amazing. The PR was amazing last year for this show, and it's just now blowing the fuck up.
Yeah.
And guys, watch it. They're like 30 minutes long. It's cute. It's funny. I'm in love with Ted Lasso. So I'm the type of person, and those who know me or who have lived with me will agree. If I really like a show, I'm going to be talking to the TV.
Right.
You're sitting next to me, and I'm talking to the characters, and I'm not shy about it, So I am in love with Ted Lasso, and I want to heal his heart without giving you any spoilers because he's such a sweet man. And I got jealous at like one episode. I'm on Twitter, so sometimes when there are shows, I know this is your recommendation, and I totally stole this from you right now, but
no,
I'm the type of person that when I feel a show and I'm talking to the TV, I'm tweeting about it. I'm tweeting my emotions and, anyways, but yes, Ted Lasso, guys, on Apple.
Yes.
Watch it. It's really good. Season 1 is out. Season 2 has been renewed. They've won awards, and word is spreading, and their PR is literally like their Twitter account started like last year, and it's growing, and now the MLS is involved and leagues are involved. I'm telling you, no one understood Mourinho's press conference joke.
Right.
I understood it, and I was like, oh my God, he watches Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your
No,
thunder
that's
there.
great. I'm glad that you found that show and appreciate it. And it's funny, there's an article that came out today that said that of all the streaming services, the highest rated shows are on Apple.
Oh, really?
And these are the shows that people are not watching. Not because they don't, it's mostly because they don't know about it,
Yeah.
Like the morning show. I have not watched it yet, but I heard great things, won awards. Servant's amazing. I highly recommend it if you like a psychological thriller type of show. I really loved Sarah Bareilles' show, named after
Little Voices.
Little Voices. Yeah, I love that show. I thought
so
it had
I
heart.
love her.
Yeah.
Love her. So I only watched that show because her name was attached to it, and it was surprisingly pretty good.
It was. I can't wait to see where it goes. Like the story continues.
Yeah.
And then I have to mention Disney Plus, only because if you are a Marvel fan of the Marvel movies, their shows are really good. Like WandaVision was great. It was campy, and I wasn't sure why it was campy, and then there's a big like a twist reveal, and it makes her character stronger and so much better going forward. And right now, we're almost towards the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that's a really good show. Also, it shows you the human side of these two characters, and them going on missions together and stuff. But it's cool because there's no Avengers movie coming out anytime soon, so you get to see these characters still part of this universe and still doing things. So if you need your Marvel fix, I highly recommend hooking up with Disney Plus. There's a lot of good stuff on there too.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who are into the shows, WandaVision, something interesting if you want to watch it, or if you have not watched it yet, watch it with subtitles. There's a lot of stuff that comes out in the subtitles, such as her thoughts. So
yes,
watch it with subtitles. So if you guys didn't know that, go back and watch the season with subtitles, because there's things that so while she's thinking and doing things, there's no audio, but the subtitles are telling you stuff.
Right.
Who do I have to thank for that? Guess.
Who do I have to thank for that? Guess.
Or what social media platform do I have to thank for that?
Twitter?
No, TikTok. I found out on TikTok that their fucking captions give away her thoughts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea. So thank you, TikTok. But if you guys are wanting to watch it, I would suggest to put those on.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yes. So we talked about Ted Lasso's. All those shows are good. I'm a huge fan, and this is for the girls that are into girly shows. I'm currently reading a book called Younger, which I only found out about this book when it was on TV Land, a show called Younger. Hilary Duff is in it. It's such a cute book show. So the show is based on a woman who's in her 40s who left her career. I'm going to leave it short. Who left her career to be a mom, and now her daughter's like an adult, and she's getting a divorce, and she's kind of like, well, I need a job, but no one's gonna hire someone at my age, because millennials are young and we're all crazy, right? Long story short, her friend convinces her to lie about her age and say that she's younger, and so she's kind of living under this pretense that she's a lot younger. And she's dating a fucking younger guy who's so hot. Josh. Team Josh. The point of it is that there's the final season is this year. I started reading the book. There's 7 seasons. So this is one of the shows that I literally, it used to be on TV Land, but it's just moved to Paramount Plus. But I used to literally talk to the TV and be so mad at her for breaking Josh's heart.
Yeah.
And then she starts dating an older guy. I'm not going to give away too much, but then the whole thing was, are you Team Josh or Team the older guy? I don't want to give it away, but I'm on Team Josh because, But the final season is coming. It's going to start streaming this week. And so I found out because Hilary Duff announced it. She's one of the characters. She's not the main character, but it's so cute and written so well. And the only downside is that the episodes are literally 30 minutes long. So throughout the years as I was watching this show, it was like one of the least known shows.
Right.
But it's so good. I would always feel I would feel like there should be more, like longer episodes. So coincidentally, I wasn't sure if after COVID they were going to bring it back, because it almost ended at season 6. And so I decided to buy the book, which was, again, the book is called Younger. And then I bought the second book, which is a sequel, which is Older. So I haven't read that. But Older, I don't know. Anyways, watch it. It's called Younger, Paramount Plus. It used to be on TV Land, but it's so good. You can tell they have a really good budget. And Hilary Duff, it's like her return to acting. And it's so good. So it's called Younger, guys. Watch it. Nice. 7 seasons, but they're very, very short.
Nice. Oh, I just remembered I watched something, and I have to ask you first before. Do you like those Pretty Little Liars type shows that involve like mystery and murder and like that kind of cover up, that kind of stuff?
No.
You don't? Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
This is for your audience.
Maybe our listeners do.
Yes. There's a new show, okay? Now, I've only watched the first 2 episodes because the show has not started yet. It starts next week. they get, I got access to the first 2 episodes. It's called Cruel Summer. And it stars Chiara Aurelius. She plays a girl, okay? This takes place in her high school in 3 years, okay? It takes place in 1993, 1994, and 1995, okay? So you see her in 1993, total nerdy girl, right? Does not fit in, right? Just she has braces on. She's a total nerd. She drops stuff. She's clumsy, Then they flash to 94, where she looks like way hot, like wearing makeup, like wearing tight fitted clothes, hooking up with some hot guy, right? Then they flash back to 1995, where she's being tried for murder. And that's all I can say. So it keeps going back and forth, okay? In time. It's Jessica Biel's show. She's the executive producer. She's behind making the show. It starts up, I think, in about a week or so. It's on Freeform, but the very next day it'll be on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, look for the show. It's called Cruel Summer. I saw the first 2 episodes. Typically not a type of show that I would watch. It's not my demographic. Like, I don't watch, those kind of like pretty Little Liars type shows, whatever. But this one is interesting because it's like innocence, and then there's like some darkness shit going on where you're like, something went down, like some murder, something,
Yeah. So,
and the thing is, you don't know, because there's still, every episode they tell you a little bit more, or they flash back, or they give you more clues, so it definitely sucked me in, and I'm definitely going to be watching that one when it's out. So check that one out, Cruel Summer.
Yeah. Which it reminded me of one that I did watch, which it's a Spanish one. It's called Deseos Oscuros.
Ooh.
Deseos Oscuros, or Dark Desires.
Dark Desires.
It's from Mexico, and it's a really good drama, but it's also related to crime. And when you mentioned it, I don't know why I somehow binged it, but in every episode, it starts with a crime, and then it, exactly like you said, it goes back and forth.
Oh, nice.
But with this one, and I really enjoyed it. It's in Spanish, but Netflix usually has audio in English, guys, if you want to listen to it in English. But every episode, I thought someone else was the murderer. Like, they basically, all the characters are fucked up.
Wow.
They're just fucked up. So with each episode, they kind of make it seem like, oh, it could have been this person.
Yeah.
And then, but you believe it because they're fucked up. But then the next episode, it's the other person,
right?
And they're just as fucked up, just in another way. So,
that's funny.
It was good in that sense. Because I remember texting my friends like, "Oh, you got to watch this," because every episode I'm like, "Oh no, it was this fool. Oh no, it was her."
Right.
So the writers were really good. So I was very impressed, and I believe most of the actors are from Mexico. Really well written in Spanish. Very adult content. Usually people think of like Televisa and Univision.
Right.
When they think of like Mexican dramas, which, by the way, I hear there's a merger with them too today.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fucking monopoly.
I know, right?
But Netflix is really stepping up the game. So it's a really good show.
Yeah.
So I want to say is Deseos Oscuros, or Dark Desires, but it's really interesting. So it reminded me of going back and forth, except, it's not years like yours.
Right.
Where it goes back and forth. It was just like, it shows you memories of each character, and because they're all fucked up, you start thinking that they're all the murderers, and it's
yeah.
not who you think it is by the end of the show.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, but yeah, that's I'm sure there's others. Oh, and I have mentioned American Gods.
Yes.
On Stars. I'm about to finish season 3. It's so fucking good.
Nice.
Cinematography is intense. And then I'm ready to cancel my subscription to Stars once I'm done with that. So I've been binge watching that.
Nice.
Well, no, I haven't been binge watching because I've been talking about it for a while. So
yeah.
I don't have the time to binge anymore, but
right.
I love it. Yeah. And then there's one final question. Ooh. What is dating life like during COVID?
Let me tell you, it's been amazing.
And this is from a married person, so they're probably wanting to know what we're up to.
Oh man, married person. It's been so amazing. No.
It's been non-existent.
It's been non-existent for me. I mean, you know, there's been a lot of temptation, to be honest with you. You know, there's been a lot of like going back and forth where I'm like, should I, could I, you know, but then, you know, it's kind of a two-way street. You know, it's like, okay, who out there is being serious, you know? Because sadly, this, you know, this pandemic kind of outed a lot of people, you know, both strangers and both, you know, close people that I know, you know? And by outed, I mean, like, basically told me that they don't give a fuck. Like, they're not being careful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, it's cool, you know, whatever, if that's your lifestyle and you're single and whatever, but I got people, I'm surrounded by people I care about, you know? And I'm not about to put them in danger, you know? So it's like, if I was alone and isolated and I could find somebody trustworthy, then yeah, you know, I would have attempted the whole dating thing. But dating at a distance, to me, that's kind of weird, you know? Like, I don't want to do online or virtual dating for a year, you know? It's like, I kind of want to meet somebody and go on a, you know, physically be with them, like be on a, you know, close to them, you know, like interact with them in person, you know? So I have not had the chance to do that. Now, you know, I think the possibilities are there to do so because, you know, things are, they're kind of interesting right now because like the cases are lower here. They're higher in other states. There's a variance going around. A lot of people are vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated, you know, and, you know, the possibilities of meeting somebody or being close to somebody, you know, a stranger, I mean, somebody I don't know, you know, are there, you know, there's possibilities. I just don't know if I really want to invest that, you know, that time right now and to do so, you know. For me, it's so much easier if it's like somebody I already know, you know. Like if I had chemistry with somebody I already know, then it's like it's so much easier for me to say yes, you know. But to do the whole stranger thing, I don't know. It's
stranger danger.
Yeah.
Help. Sorry.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you have to turn on the gas burner under me to light a fire and, you know, get me going. I don't know if that's what's needed or if I'm being too overly cautious. Maybe I'm being too crazy about this, and, you know, that's fine. You know, I don't. Everybody has their own thing, you know, and I know, you know, for me, it has not worked out. So it's been lonely in the sense of the dating aspect of my life, but luckily I've been busy, and being busy is good to get your mind off that kind of thing, you know, because I've had friends who are lonely and they have nothing going on, and you know, it's so easy to fall into depression, and you know, the whole thing is like, well, I'm not going to ever meet anybody, and it's just like, no, it's not true. It's like, look, if you get your mind off things and you can just basically postpone you dating, you know, then maybe, you know, you'll be fine, you know. But how about you though?
Well, for me, it was very non-existent dating when COVID.
Right.
And it was very confusing for me as a single person who essentially lives by myself. People have started relationships in COVID. I've had a friend who fell into a relationship because of COVID, and now that everything's opening up, it seems like it's not working out.
Oh no.
Then I've had people break up that I know during COVID.
Yes.
But for me, it was like I felt lonely, kind of like what you were saying. And then with my line of work, I was having anxiety. I got really depressed and sad. And I, you know, you and I had talked about like I missed my ex a lot because of the circumstances of me being alone, you know, during COVID and not feeling like, kind of like what you said, going out there and meeting people. But I have a girlfriend who started dating her guy during COVID, and, you know, they're doing wonderful now.
Yeah.
But I was kind of scared. But it's only until recently that I feel like I'm open to now, you know, not being so scared. And it could be because things are opening up, because I'm fully vaccinated. But I think too, I just realized, like, you know, It is what it is.
Right.
Maybe some people didn't change their dating habits. I didn't really have any dating habits. So I did, in that sense, I wished I had when things were really down. I felt kind of like what you said. I would have preferred to have my ex around at the time because it was like comfort. I didn't want to put the effort to meet anyone new.
Right.
At the time. So now towards this part of the COVID pandemic, I'm open to it. But I'm not making really any efforts. I have gone on a date or two. But I haven't. I'm very picky, guys. I'm a believer, and you know how you said the reason I don't like to date is because I've always kind of believed that life is going to put who needs to be in my life when it's going to happen, when it's meant to happen. So there are people who will tell you, get out there. If you don't get out there, you're not going to meet anyone. But some of us prefer to meet people in natural habitat, right? Whatever that is.
Right. Right.
So for me, I want to meet someone new. I don't want to meet anyone I know.
Right.
I would like to meet someone new. I'm open to it, and I'm saying it out to the universe. But yeah, I guess essentially I have gone on dates, just a handful, and I've not really, I realize I'm not the dating type. When I say dating type, I just don't like that. Let's have dinner, tell me about you.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm open to it. But at this point, I'm just kind of focused on my stuff. Although during COVID, there was no dating. And I didn't want to date, essentially. And that's why I missed the ex kind of aspect of my life, because I would rather just go back to that comfort zone versus meeting new people.
Right.
But now I'm open to it.
That's good.
But I'm not willing to do dating apps anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So there you go. I'm putting it on the universe. I'm going to date a younger guy from earlier on
A younger guy.
on the podcast.
That's funny.
No, I'll probably end up with an older nerd guy again.
There you go.
Oh yeah, terrible. Anyway, but thank you again for joining me on this episode of us talking random questions.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, we should do it again.
Of course, absolutely, whenever you like.
Perfect. Thank you. And if you guys made it this far, thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye. That was episode 53 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on most podcast platforms, and follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.